Here's why building a workout program is very similar to building an Ironman suit. Why do I say that? In the world of fitness, there's something called progressive overload. It's a fancy way of saying how your body progresses throughout your time in the gym. Similar to Tony, who builds suits that get better over time, one of the goals of being in the gym is to continue to make progress over time. And in this video, we're going to go over 3 specific scenes that show progressive overload and how we can apply that in the real world. Your first experience of working out is going to be similar to the Mark I. It's going to feel like this awkward, big metal suit. And that's actually completely normal. Tony wasn't trying to build the optimal suit to escape. He just needed to build something that would allow him to get out of his current situation. How does that relate to us? They say that true growth occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of making changes. In other words, your first workout program or your first workout in general doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to find something to help you escape your current living situation. So it's no problem if you feel like trash your first workout, or if your first workout is something that's awkward and kind of uncomfortable. That's totally fine. That's part of the journey. Eventually, though, the workouts will get easier and easier, and that takes us to Mark II. Mark II is basically all about feedback. Throughout the MCU, Iron Man suits, they all get better, but they still follow that same mold. Not from the Mark I, but they follow the sleek, slim design that started with the Mark II. Why is that important in the real world? Throughout a lifetime, you'll do various exercises. However, all the exercises you perform had the same foundation: learning technique and learning how the barbell moved. I mean, the first couple months of lifting are actually pretty cool in my opinion, because you're testing your limits and you're seeing just how strong you can get.
Yeah, tell you what, do a weather and ATC check, start listening in on ground control.
Sir, there are still terabytes of calculations needed before an actual flight is advanced.
Jarvis, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
This is essentially where you can start to manipulate a couple of variables to make sure you're continuing to make progress in your first couple months of training. Generally speaking, for beginners, they can just make linear progress and they can continue to put weight on the bar. But if you start to stall at the weights, if you cannot increase the weight, try increasing the reps. If you can't increase the reps, try increasing the sets. Oddly enough, if you're somebody who tends to push yourself too hard, you might be skipping ahead to the last step. The last step is actually the Mark III, so this is such a throwaway scene that you don't realize, but when Tony says this,
throw a little hot rod red in there.
Right within that moment, he personalized his own suit. Why did I talk about personalization? Well, you can have the perfect program and it can have testimonies and do wonders, but if it's not personal to you and you don't like it, you're probably not going to stick with it long. So while yes, your first couple workouts will feel awkward, and while yes, you do need to make sure you're making progress, if you're choosing exercises that you hate, you're probably not going to want to stick with it. If you can't stick with it throughout a lifetime, the program is probably not for you. So that's why it's important to experiment with dozens of exercises. There are countless exercises that still target the same muscle. No, it doesn't have to be the bench, squat, or deadlift. It can be whatever that's comfortable for you and something that you can actually stick with and actually progress on. I view the arc reactor as the why behind the suit. In the real world, your arc reactor is your why behind being active and being fit. It can be a variety of different reasons. And just like each suit gets better over time, but the main source is the arc reactor, you'll see that throughout your fitness career, you'll continue to progress and advance, but your why tends to stay the same, or in some cases, it even gets better, as you know, I'm teasing for the next film. I love the idea of Iron Man suits being workout programs. I might talk about it more in the future, but this is kind of like a beginner's 101. You don't have to have the perfect program. You don't have to have everything figured out. As I say for all these videos, this is simply a personal trainer geeking out over a fandom. Take everything I say with a gram of protein, and as always, remember to stay mentally fit, emotionally fit, and physically fit. Thank you for your time, and I will see you all in the next video.
Kill power.